Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Resistance. We're going to talk about a handful of stocks today, so let's get right into it. We have Lithium first and foremost, which is our swing trade, or rather, we're trying to swing trade this thing. We're in, we're out, we're in, we're out. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to swing, all right? I want to swing, but market's just not giving it to me, so that's fine. We're at least not losing money, even though the lithium does look pretty nasty on the ETF here, and it is gapping down 1.4% at the moment, which is interesting. So we did pick up 3 stocks today: Vulcan, LTR, and IGO. They're all much of a muchness. They're all in the same ballpark. So we ended up getting, and we got them all right at the end of the day as well. So we have Vulcan here, basically bought 277 and 278. That's it. Nothing too exciting. Sold off, went sideways. And I'll show you guys actually why I decided to buy before I show you the next 2 charts. So here's the lithium daily chart. Green is red and red is green, right? That's just how the Chinese do it. So yesterday it gapped up 2.5% or whatever it was, sold off 5% from the highs, looked brutal. And then today it held this 145k level on the CNY, the Chinese yuan. Intraday, fascinating. Looked terrible. That's why everything sold off around match in the morning, and then it just recovered, just spiked after the lunchtime session, which for us it opens at around 3:30 p.m. It just spiked a few minutes later, just went boop, recovered everything, held this 145k level that we see on the daily chart that bottomed out here, and we'll see. We got Vulcan at the end of the day. LTR spiked nicely just before we got it. I think we got it, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes before it spiked. And you can see here it spiked about maybe 10 minutes after the move on lithium. So a nice little bit of buffer there at the moment. So it's sitting at whatever, plus 1.6%. It's not a day trade, but it's nice to have a little bit of a buffer coming into tomorrow, especially if the lithium ETF gaps down like it looks like it is by 1.4 at the moment. Again, we'll see how that performs overnight. I find it more important to see what spot's doing than the global ETF or the US ETF for that. We have IGO as well. IGO is always a fun trader, actually. It's a bit more active. This one as well just popped, had a nice move, whatever, not even 1%. But again, nice little buffer coming into tomorrow. If things go sour, if lithium ETF pukes it, we can always just close it out on match. Again, we've got a buffer. And then, if lithium ETF is down like 4%, 5 or something crazy, we can just get out a match and then potentially rebuy depending on what lithium does in the morning around 11 o'clock when it opens. And yeah, that's pretty much the play for that. There was JNS. This news announcement was revenue based, and I don't really care so much about revenue based announcements. I mean, this was trading at 22 mil market cap. I think it says something around the 40 mil mark of sales or something along that ballpark. I don't remember the news exactly, but that's roughly what came through in the news. And it didn't actually do a whole lot. I mean, look, there was, I guess, a match trade here that was quite nice to 18%. But once it sort of did its move in 2-3 minutes, that was kind of it. Kind of went sideways, rallied a bit, came back to VWAP. We did pick this up at the end of the day and got 2 ticks out of it, just because. It held up so nicely all day. It's very rare for a specky to hold up like that. So this probably does end up continuing tomorrow based on that. I mean, closing near its highs is very impressive for a spec stock. So, we're also trading in July, so I'm kind of not keen on holding a specky stock at this time of year, this end of financial year period. You'd think because it's a new financial year, things don't sell off, but it kind of takes time to recover. I always find June and July to be pretty awful, and August is kind of where things start behaving better. So whatever, we took a tick out of that. There was an opportunity to trade it, but I'm just kind of avoiding speculative stocks at the moment, these micro cappers. I'm just not feeling it. 40X came out with the news announcements. That was actually kind of good, and then puked it. I mean, we didn't take this one. This was, from memory, not shortable. No, sorry, it was shortable. We did end up taking a short, actually, just at this little pop above VWAP. Didn't really get anything out of it. Basically flat on 40X. There was that opportunity based on the news. I really didn't expect this to happen. To sell off like that, but there was the opportunity to break down once the 3rd minute candle broke down. That was a really good short, and all the way smoked through $4, just on high volumes. It's pretty early on in the session. You can see it's 3 high volume candles right after open, straight through 4. 4 doesn't even hold at all and just crumbles right through. And once 4 goes, that is it. You might get to like 397, 398, and someone might try and hold it there briefly, but it's too close to the open price, and it's too close to open. Yeah, it's not worth trying to defend that or buy the dip on that. But yeah, puked right through. Absolutely sensational. For anyone that caught that, beautiful. MIN, we were late to the party on this one, but it just ended up being an absolutely sick move. So from roughly higher day, basically from open, ended up nearly 5% down. And yeah, we were really late on this, and it doesn't matter because once this little candle popped, that's where we started shorting, and then wait for the breakdown. So it would have been nice to catch it earlier. I just wasn't watching the stock earlier, and yeah, it broke down really nicely. First sign of recovery, and we started cutting. So it was pretty straightforward stuff. You might be thinking, well, this is what I would have been thinking, right? When I first started my first year or two trading, it's like, there's a double bottom. I want to buy that, right? I totally get that mentality, but it is, in my opinion, wildly incorrect to do. So the first thing to note is this move here. So first of all, there's a nice big downswing. You start getting here, and it's going a little bit sideways. You're like, ooh, this is maybe a buy here or something, and then it comes back down and it bounces. Ooh, it's a double bottom. It's like, no, that's just lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. That's all it is. That's just constantly lower highs. You're looking at it wrong if you're trying to buy these things. Don't fucking do it. Look how late I got in this piece of shit, and I still made almost $1, or basically $1 out of it. Where was it? So let's call that the average. Probably was a little bit less, but yeah, wasn't quite 90 cents. Okay, it was 75 cents-ish, maybe on average. Whatever. Stellar stock. Still managed to get a good chunk of that, even though we were so late to the party. So the idea here is that, again, it's lower highs, and lower lows, of course. But the important thing, and I'm not sure how to word this, maybe it's just it's a concept rather than a rigid structure or a textbook definition. But when something sells down and it refuses to even get to VWAP, right? Like it's constantly down. You can see these little bumps, and then it just kind of chills sideways for a bit and it starts coming down again. At this point in time, you just know this thing's gonna fucking puke it. You just know, like 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, it's just a very high likelihood this thing pukes. Because if this doesn't get to VWAP or even close to VWAP, and it kind of just lingers at this low, that is like a dump, consolidate, dump setup, right? It's not our VCP or PCP setup. It's literally the opposite of that. And it's beautiful. You know, it's once you get in the habit of shorting something that's trading at its lows, irrespective of the fact that it's been down here for an hour, then it's great. And the idea as well is like, I don't want to short here, because I don't know if that starts the recovery to VWAP. But once it starts rolling over, it's like, oh, fuck yeah. Okay, let's get a starter. Let's get another little add-on. Oh, what's this? What's this cute little fucking thing? Just an opportunity to short more? Fuck yeah. And then it just pukes it. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful chart. It's very safe money in my opinion. I mean, I took it. I took it because it felt extremely safe. I like to follow momentum, and I know there are guys out there, and I know there's so many new traders out there that just would look at this and buy, and God, it just fucking sucks knowing you guys exist, because I understand why you want to buy. I understand it completely, but it is a rewiring of the brain to be able to short the lows of the day. And it's easy when you look at it now, when you look at it in hindsight, because there's an extra fucking hour of trading, half hour of trading after that. But when you look at it here in context, like this, or even like this, it's hard to picture the trade, but you should be able to. You should understand that this is fucking terrible. Terrible for longs. Terrible. There's nothing good here. And it starts offloading here. It's like, oh, we're rolling back down to retest the lows. That is fucking awful. There is almost never a situation that this is a buy. And then there's this cute little bounce to give people hope, but no, it comes off. And it's beautiful. Honestly beautiful. And then you guys, I'm sure if we go like minute by minute, you guys can spot the moment where it's like, oh, okay, this is where we start covering. Like it's just the strength of that candle. And it comes back. And now, if it does start rolling over again, mind you, there's also potentially a re-entry there, short. But this is already down nearly 5%, so I'm not too keen on something that's down that hard to keep going, unless it was really like fundamentally bad news or something. But yeah, I mean, look, you probably could start shorting it. It's 12:44. It's lunchtime. No, it's too late. Sorry, no, it's too late. It looks appealing. It really does. But when you also factor in that it's nearly lunchtime, it's not good. But this is basically, yeah, this is pre-midday trading, right? Once it hits midday, shit can get pretty ugly, choppy, sideways. I'm sure you guys, if you've been trading intraday, you know that once it hits 12 o'clock, things just do fucking whatever most of the time. But that's just beautiful. I might print that out and put it on my wall. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for me today. Hopefully we'll have some good news with our lithium trades tomorrow. So if you're interested in how to day trade, if you're new to this channel, check out the description below. There is a course, the only course in Australia that offers real day trading content. No Lamborghinis, no mobile phone trading, none of that bullshit. It was written entirely by me in support of two other traders who I got to help me make it. And yeah, they have about 50 years combined just between the two of them, plus myself. So what's that? 62 years experience in a 3.5 hour course, complete end to end. We're talking what is a candle straight through to the most advanced stuff that I can possibly teach you. So guys, catch you tomorrow. Peace.